Yo, what is up, you guys? So today we're going to be talking about disc golf etiquette, and now I think this kind of thing is really brushed over. It's never usually talked about. Of course, you can look in the PDGA rulebook all about this kind of stuff, but I'm going to be talking about 6 main things that if you're going to watch something on etiquette, this is going to be the video, and you will learn something from it. And if you ever play with me, I definitely expect you to follow these 6 things. So let's get right into it. Now, the most important thing I would say for etiquette is do not talk when someone is throwing. When they're on the tee pad, you just stay quiet. I can't tell you how many times I'm like right about to release it and I hear someone like way in the back think they're being quiet and they're just, you know, talking to someone. They're like, yeah, nice. Like, I don't want to hear that, okay? It has to be like that. Like, sure, I'll hear someone from another tee pad, maybe, but I shouldn't hear someone in my own group talking like right behind me. That's just extremely rude, especially for putting. You definitely don't want someone to be talking when you're putting. That can totally mess you up. Okay, rule number 2, always be behind someone when they're throwing. You don't want to be in their peripheral vision, and you definitely don't want to be in front of them. If you're throwing an upshot or something, that's a little bit different, but definitely drives, always stick behind them. I know there's some times where, you know, the tee pad is so small, so sometimes you will have to be on the sides. That I can understand, but there's no excuse when you have all this open area to stand, and I can see you in my peripheral vision. That's just not okay. Rule number 3, be mindful of other groups or people on the course. Tons of times when I'm playing in competition or whatever, there are casuals on the course as well. Now, if there's like a group of 4 of us or 5 of us or something like that, and there's a group of 2 casuals behind us, I just let them go through every time. Why wouldn't you? There's 5 of you and only 2 of them. It doesn't matter if you throw better, they're gonna go way quicker. Always let them go through. And the same goes if you and a friend are playing or something and there's like a group of 5, always ask to just go through, you know what I mean? And something else about keeping track of people on the course is make sure you know who's in front of you and behind you. Now, the main reason why you want to keep track of who's in front of you and behind you is because, 1, you don't want to keep people waiting. If you know you're taking your time a little too much and you didn't really think about there's a group behind you, you know, you could speed it up a little bit. But another thing is, if there is a group in front of you and there's a couple blind holes on the course and you notice that they're suddenly gone on the hole like way too fast, maybe they're actually looking for a disc. So it's always good to just call out, you know, are you guys clear on hole 6? You know, it would be horrible if you threw on them on the hole and you ended up hitting someone. Not only is throwing on someone who's still playing the hole extremely rude, but you could have avoided this whole situation by just yelling, are you guys clear? Or, you know, just paying attention that there's a group in front of you. Maybe there's something in the fairway, maybe one of their bags or something. Rule number 4. This one's not so big with me, but if you're gonna play music in your group, I would always ask your entire group, are you okay with it? Don't just play the music right away just because, you know, when you're with friends or whatever, they don't care. You know, if you're playing with new people or something, you definitely want to ask them. Rule number 5. This one is really important to me personally. I know some people don't really care, but I would recommend that you always go in order unless someone says you can go first or something like that. Like, let's say they have to have a phone call or something, they walk off, or they use the bathroom, or, you know, something like that. And what I mean by going in order is, let's say that you got a 2 on the last hole, everyone else got a 3, and then someone just goes before you. That's not how it works. You would go first because you got a 2. Now, I know some people don't really care. They just say, you know, if you're ready, just go. And that's cool. If a group member says that's fine and you go in front of them, totally fine. Now, I was talking pretty much about drives. Can you imagine how rude it would be if someone was in front of you in the fairway and they shot before you did and you're behind them? That's extremely rude. You always want to go in order. Just don't get in that situation. And rule number 6. If someone's looking for their disc, I think the rule book says after about 3 minutes in a tournament or something like that, it's considered lost. Personally, I don't usually go by that. And my rule of thumb for that is I usually have the person who threw the disc call it lost. I mean, if they're looking for, you know, an excess of 5 to 10 minutes, I would ask them, be like, you want to just go look for it later? Because if you think about it, there's a lot of other groups on the course. If you're in a competition, for example, there's going to be tons of other groups that are probably going to come by, probably going to throw in the rough. probably going to pick up the disc and bring it back to the TO. You know you're probably going to get it back, so don't worry too much. But again, don't be that guy who right at 3 minutes 30 seconds be like, alright, it's lost, let's go. You don't want to be that rude. You want to wait for the guy who threw it to call it lost. You'd be really surprised that if you play with people who play often, they'll call it lost because they know that, you know, we've looked for a few minutes. And also think about that there's probably 4 or 5 of you in the group, so it's going to be a lot of eyes looking for the one disc. So they're more likely to just give up and move on if they threw it and they knew it's going to take a while to find and you guys just aren't seeing it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. By the way, I did see I got a message on Disc Golf Scene about some video or something like that. I'm going to be checking that out in just a minute, but I figured, you know, this was on my mind. I'm going to be playing soon, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.